Like and subscribe right now, or you're going to have bad luck for the rest of the week.
We all love animals, and the bigger they are, the more there is to love. The bigger the dog, the more there is to pay. But some animals are so unusually large that they have even confused scientists. Some of the creatures you are about to witness are such gargantuan lumps of muscle we could barely fit them on the screen. From the biggest snake to the spider crab, here are 10 abnormally large animals that actually exist. Let's begin. Number 10. The African giant snail. Slimy and gooey, snails are basically slugs in a shell. When you hear of snails, I am sure that the image that comes to your mind is less than a few inches long. But the African giant snail that I'm here to show you will likely shake all the thoughts you ever had about snails out of your head. And no, they haven't been genetically modified in any way or feed on Big Macs. They exist this way naturally. They are the largest land snail that is known to have ever existed. With a size of 8 inches in length and 4 inches in width, these snails are known to be voracious eaters and can eat anything from living to dead plant matter. They are known to be able to eat over 500 types of plants. They have an incredibly huge capacity for reproduction and can deposit more than 200 eggs after mating, which eventually mature and start munching over food crops and destroying them. So they are not the king of pets you would want in your garden. Number 9. Tiger the cow. This cow has beaten all the odds to become the chunkiest of all chunky boys. Well, here is an unbelievable story. That's unbelievable with the word bull in it because it's a cow. Well, never mind. It sounded very clever in my head. This is a story about a Frisian named Tiger who was faced with the end of a shotgun after his farmer decided he didn't need any more males. How amazing it'd be if humans came to that conclusion, right? After persuading the farmer to let the young stud carry out living his life, the young bull decided to pay back his savior by becoming a rather remarkable creature. At 7 years old, Tiger was already reaching a staggering 6 feet and 5 inches, and what's more, he was still growing. He weighed nearly 1.2 tons and measured a jaw-dropping 14 feet from nose to tail. Tiger's enormous weight means he could potentially make 7,665 Big Macs, or even 6,137 Burger King Whoppers. Now, that is a lot of fat. Although the idea of equating him to burgers might not sit well with some, those numbers are completely true. Believe me, I'm an engineer in my day job. The farmer decided to keep him as a pet, and the big boy lived a serene life, far removed from that of your regular livestock, as should a superstar bull. Number 8. Giant Chinese pig. Many people might agree that pigs are somewhat adorable, in their own way at least, but have you ever wondered how truly menacing and terrifying they can get if blown up to the right size? Well, this particular farm, deep in the southern region of China, might give you all the answers you could ever want. On this farm, there lives a very, very big pig, and it is heavier than a polar bear. Yes, a polar bear-sized pig. Think about that for a second. A 1,102-pound beast is part of a herd that's being bred to become giant swine. At slaughter, some of the pigs get so huge that they can sell for more than 10,000 won, around $1,500 US. This unbelievable method of rearing pigs came as a response to the country's increasing pork shortage problem, as China is the home to the world's most voracious pork consumers. I don't know any famous or wise sayings about pigs, but just assume I said something clever about how pigs save lives. Number 7. African Goliath frog. As you probably know, Goliath means really big, and that's what this frog is, really big. Not only that, but this frog is also a gym freak. The African Goliath frog is so strong it can literally move rocks. And if you think that's the end of it, you would be wrong. This beast can make its own pond, too. No, I'm not kidding. Though some frogs are thumbnail sized, the Goliath frog is bigger than a whole human foot, measuring up to 34 centimeters, and weighing up to 7.2 pounds. It doesn't start out so big though. The Goliath frog tadpole is the same size as a tadpole of any average frog, but just keeps growing and growing. The adult looks a lot like other frogs as well, just a whole lot bigger. Although these giant frogs have been around longer than humans, we still have a lot to learn about them. But we know that these amphibians can actually move rocks to build their own ponds to safeguard their children. Now that's one protective parent. Number 6. Bismarck masked flying fox. If you are a Dracula enthusiast, this one might interest you very much. At first glance, this animal looks like something straight out of someone's horror movie, or haunted house at the second glance. Honestly, it still looks like that. This creepy bird is called the Bismarck masked flying fox. Among its many interesting features and biological info, the Bismarck masked flying fox is one of the rarest species of mammals in which males can lactate. The weird yet magnificent creature has a rather difficult time in the past couple of years. In 2009, the IUCN classified the species as near threatened. The organization's move had them noting that the rate of decline is almost high enough to reclassify the species as vulnerable. I don't know what animals ended up making this bad, but honestly at this point I don't want to know. Number 5. Biggest alligator. If you can spot the difference between an alligator and a crocodile, you have my respect and are probably far too close. Gators are much bigger in size compared to crocs and can easily chug on a human leg like a barbecue meal. But when not irritated, these predators are pretty calm and peaceful animals. Just look at this alligator strolling around having a walk in the park while the people around him stay stunned. I know that I mentioned that alligators are huge, but this is probably the biggest one we've ever seen. Just look at the size of its triple chin. Looks like he's been feeding on a lot of his fellow comrades. This monster was spotted in Circle B Bar Reserve, Florida, and instantly made it to the headlines. It seems like animals of monstrous sizes are more normal in Florida than actual tax-paying citizens. What do you think? Does this gator pay taxes? It sure does seem like it eats a lot. Number 4. Alligator tortoise. We know tortoises are amazing and probably the most low-key creatures out there. They are known for living a long life, but did you know how big they can get? If not, then you are in for a big surprise. The Alligator giant tortoise is the biggest species of tortoise out there, and it is also one of the world's longest living animals. It has an enormous dome-shaped shell that acts as protective armor to the soft, vulnerable body of the Alligator giant tortoise underneath. Even though it isn't immortal, the Alligator tortoise's lifespan is basically more than twice that of humans. These modern-day dinosaurs can live over 230 years. Yes, you heard that right, they can grow quickly and can reach 200 pounds before their 15th birthday, if fed properly. The craziest part is, had we not ruined their habitat, he would live for another 250 years. Number 3. Giant Gypsland earthworm. They say everything in Australia can kill you, including crazy poisonous eastern brown snakes, enormous saltwater crocodiles, and humans. The continent's long isolation has given rise to an incredibly unique diversity of life. But believe me when I say this. Its most remarkable creature is a gentle, extremely delicate creature few of you have the privilege to see. The giant Gypsland earthworm, which can grow to some 6 feet long. Many people have made the mistake that this beast is a snake, and I have to say, the resemblance is just uncanny. This is an extremely vulnerable species, isolated to just 150 square miles at the southeast tip of Australia. Its habitat, once dense forests, has been almost entirely converted to farmland, where tilling and toxins have pushed them to the brink of extinction. While these worms only surface during heavy rains to avoid drowning in soggy soil, you can actually hear them underfoot. I don't think Australia can get any weirder than this. Number 2. Coconut crab. You may be familiar with the hermit crab that totters along the beach, toting their bodies in seashells. Meet their enormous relatives, the coconut crab. Their leg span is up to 1 meter and have incredible gripping strength and can lift objects the weight of a 10-year-old child. That doesn't mean you give it one for lifting. To say that coconut crabs are big would be an understatement. They are actually a mega crab species. The spider crab might be the world's largest crab, but the coconut crab is the largest crustacean that spends its adult life on land, with a Guinness World Record to prove it. It's also the biggest land-dwelling arthropod. These behemoth crabs can live for as long as 60 years, eating coconuts all day long on the beach. This guy lives a better life than most of us do here. Number 1. Japanese spider crab. When you hear about crabs, you usually have those small-sized crustaceans that we love in our seafood diet. But there is one crab that has been blowing the minds of many since its discovery. The Japanese spider crab is the largest crab species in the world and inhabits the waters of Japan. This crab has the largest leg span of any known arthropod, reaching about 4 meters long when fully stretched out, and they can weigh up to 44 pounds. It lives very deep in waters and is very difficult to find, and you really need to go all out to catch one of these guys. Special equipment is required when fishing for them because of their incredibly strong and sharp claws. However, in contrast to their terrifying appearance, the Japanese spider crab has been said to have a gentle demeanor. So, if you would like to have a massive crab included in your next meal, you can consider fishing for a Japanese spider crab. We hope you get a tasty reward for your bravery. Which one of these giant animals did you find the most fascinating? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.